Bye, Harry. See you tonight. This life's been kind to me, and I've got to change. To stop taking it for granted. The exercise is good for me. I should take more care of myself. Little bits of exercise are better than an occasional hour. I feel like I've had my eyes half closed for so long. Just drifting through the days. I'm going to take control. I don't want to lose where we've got to by not paying attention to it. Some routine is good, sure. Other routines are just how we fill our days. I should have paid more attention to the small stuff, not locked on to avoiding everything that matters. I've let myself lose track of what I want after everything we've been through. It's time to take control. I can't think how often we chatted there, talking late into the night. We used to walk in the park together. We should do more of that. I didn't expect it, but I feel happy I've made this choice. Patterns. Every day the same start. Harry never wakes up from my alarm. A routine is good, to a point. I used to love this efficiency, but I feel trapped by it now. Harry likes me in this t-shirt. The same stories I've carried with me for years between houses. I feel like I've barely glanced at this picture for years. I love it as much as when I first saw it. It's good to have reference points in your life, some patterns. I don't want my life with Harry to change, but it will happen if I don't take control. Even here I get into patterns. Bathroom first, then kitchen for breakfast. Maybe I should change that. Changing the routine. I'm so rock and roll. Tea. A man takes the lead, Grandma would tell me. I guess I need to step up to the line. I've got a great thing here. I don't think she meant this, but she's right. I should take the lead. I should ask Harry to marry me. I want to be his husband. I think maybe Grandma would be okay with it these days. Then again, maybe she wouldn't.
Naturally, as Will's grandmother, I visited Will in hospital on the first day that he was born. James, Will's father, handed him to me, wrapped in a little blue blanket. I'll never forget that moment. He was such a handsome baby. James ran 3 London pubs in the 1980s, of that punk sort. He looked awful with that leather jacket and those sort of things. That's not the sort of thing for children. So I would babysit as often as possible to make sure he had someone normal in his life. James had horror books in the house, and I'm so glad they were kept on a high shelf away from Will. Terrible things. I just don't understand what pleasure there is in that kind of story. Will's birth wasn't very easy, but he got here. He was never going to have brothers or sisters after that. Will's mother is an American, Sharon. They met through James's pubs. She took Will away to America for 3 years when she and James split up. They got back together again though. James and Sharon would always be putting on some awful music, if you could call it that. Not my cup of tea at all. I turned it off first thing whenever I was babysitting. Sharon was always reading. She taught art history. Never really made much money. It's good for a young boy to be outdoors. But Will never really liked that when he was young. I only wanted the best for Will. I must sound like I was terribly damning of James and Sharon, but I loved Will as a boy and wanted to give him the best chance of a normal life. I remember that night because Will had been unusually quiet all evening. He told me that he had been in a fight. A boy had been calling a dark-skinned girl names. Will had tried to stop the other boy, but he had been punched in the stomach. I asked him if he had cried, and he said yes. I told him that big boys don't cry. I remember him asking me then, what do big boys do when they're sad? I told him that when he grew up, he would be a good man, able to stand up for others. I suppose I didn't answer his question. Even though he was hurt, I told him he was right to try to stop the bully. Now I think about it, I don't think he was very comforted. When he was going to bed, Will tripped on a toy. I remember carrying him. He was trying so hard not to cry. He was so small in my arms. I've never forgotten that feeling.